For PBS Radio Festival 2020, we asked PBS announcers to take us inside their record rooms and share 5 releases that are special to them. Introducing Ronan Hamill.
What's up, folks? This is Ronan from Hippopotamus Rex, 3 PBS FM, and you are in the record room. We've got 5 records to chat about over the next 10 minutes, so ain't nothing to it but to do it. Number 1, The Flirtations, Nothing But a Heartache. Durham Records, 1969. The personnel at that stage of The Flirtations was the 2 sisters, Ernestine and Shirley Pierce, as well as Listine Johnson. And can those ladies belt out a tune. The musical direction on this was by the great Johnny Harris. No relation to me. I do have an uncle called Johnny Harris, actually. Johnny was a Scottish-born musical director synonymous with that big sound, Shirley Bassey, Paul Anka, Engelbert Humperdinck. So you know what you're getting into when this guy's arranging your music. This was first introduced to me by a good friend, Jerry Braden, back in the 90s, early to mid, somewhere in the university area of Belfast, postcode BT7, when we were just hungry for so much music. And Jerry played me this, and it just blew my tiny mind. It introduced me to Northern Soul. He then went on to school me on it. And also, this was given to me by a good friend of mine, Tim Brooks. Tim actually gifted it to me because he realised it was so important to me. It was at a wedding of a mutual friend in San Francisco a couple of years ago. What up, Doogie? And there it is. Love it. Okay. Number 2. Larry Young, Lawrence of Newark. Larry was a jazz organist, had a few albums initially with Blue Note, but by 1973 he had left, and this was the offering he gave us via Perception Records. Larry does a bit of vocals on this as well as the bongos. But for me, music has to travel. There has to be movement, and it has to take me somewhere. And this ticks all the boxes. This does it all. In particular, one track called Sunshine Fly Away. Every time I hear it, it gives me goosebumps. Such an amazing track. He takes you to another country, another place, and that's something pretty important to me when I'm listening to music. Now, this was bought at Northside Records in Gertrude Street up there in Fitzroy, and I can remember buying it at the time, and I was talking to Chris, the owner, and he said, you know, Ronan, arguably this is Larry's finest work, and I would tend to agree. Such a great release. And how dope's that cover? Okay, from the same year, 73, Virgin Records. Now, if Larry takes you to another world, these guys will take you to another dimension. Pay close attention. Angel's Egg, Radio Gnome, Part 2 by Gong. Gong at that stage, you were Melbourne-born David Allen, Gilly Smith and Steve Hillage from England, and then the 2 French guys who, apologies if I murder these pronunciations, Pierre Morlaine and Didier Malherbe. And this is a trip. This goes round and round, up and down, in and out, through dimensions. Again, there's that journey, that movement. I mean, psychedelic jazz is probably the shortest description you can give it. It has so much humour in it as well. It also has politics, ethics, spirituality. It's great. Love it. The whole package. And this was given to me, well, it was actually a swap. A good mate of mine, Ronan Hamill. What up, Kieran? He swapped this. He had this in his collection. I wanted it. I had it on CD. I wanted it on vinyl. I swapped him a Frank Kozik gig poster. And it was a great trade. I think Kieran has since bought it again. But thanks, man. Love it. Okay, into the modern era with number 4 from the year 2000. This is by a band called Broadcast. The core members were Trish Keenan and James Cargill. I think James is still making music under the name Broadcast. Unfortunately, Trish passed away maybe a decade ago. But this is the test pressing of Extended Play, one of their 12 inches that they brought out. And this is special to me, I think mainly because of the track that's on it called Belly Dance. Again, when we're talking about movement and travel and taking you to places, Belly Dance has that, does that. The influences, it's got a mad Middle Eastern vibe to it, but also that Italian cinematic soundtrack thing going on, like Bruno Nicolai or Ennio Morricone or Henry Mancini. So it's got that going for it, and it just canters along really, really nicely. Warp Records 129, and this was bought, I think, on eBay. At the time, the seller was selling other memorabilia of the band, including posters. So I can only imagine it may have been a fundraiser for James at the time. But there you go, Broadcast. Extended Play. Okay, lucky last. Here we go. Tram. From 2011, 7th of October 2011 to be precise, for the term of his natural life, Uncut recordings. This to me is one of those perfect albums that, with regard to lyrics, the beats, production, mastering, artwork, it ticks all the boxes. Lyrically, the similes that Tram pulls out, the rhymes, the wordplay, he really is a true master. Production-wise, Prowler, Beat Butcher, Pang Productions, Must, Wick from Creek Cartel, you know, the guest vocals, Lazy Grey, Kings Connected, Brad Strutt, the DJs on the cut, Prowler, DJ Revolution. Enough said, really. The front cover by Linz, the photography on the back, Josh Davis. Who is Josh Davis anyway? But as I said, the whole package, Uncut recordings, and there's probably a very good reason as to why it's called Uncut, because this type of hip hop is pretty pure. It's up there. So there you have it, people. Oh, where it was bought. It was bought at No Beats Records when it was in Izzet Street in Paran. And I can remember the week beforehand I was in. The manager at the time was Frank, aka Slap618. How you doing, man? He's now the owner and operator of Union Heights, again in Paran. But a week beforehand, the album dropped. I was in buying stuff, as I did, you know, on a weekly basis back then. And Tram actually came in. he was dropping off the consignment for Frank to sell. So I had a chat with him, and yeah, a week later, bought it, and here it is. And we're done. Thank you.